Hi, thank you all for joining me on my third edition of our virtual styling workshop. Today we're going to be doing it from my balcony, so welcome back to my home. And I'm going to be taking you through some home styling on the entertainment front, how I would style a table and an area when I've got people over, especially now when we can't have anyone over and we can't go to any restaurants either. I thought it would be fun to do some tips on how to just make your whole space at home come a little bit alive, make it a little bit more special, whether it is just dinner for two or whether you've got your whole family round, maybe an occasion to bring everyone around the table. I know we're all spending a lot of time with each other, but I thought that if we could do something to make our home entertaining areas a little bit more special, that maybe that might bring some of your teenagers that not necessarily want to eat with you all the time, and just make it more of an occasion. So in our family, if circuit breaker does lift in June, we would have had 2 birthdays over the 2 months. And this is another great idea of how I'm going to give you some tips just to jazz up your place to make it look that much more special. So I'm going to hand the camera over to my lovely daughter Lara, and I'm going to show you where we're going to start from today. So bear with me 1 second. Lara, could you just come over, please? I think she knows how to flip this round, and it's a bit warm out on my balcony. Ideally this happens in the evening and it's really quite lovely, so Lara's going to take over now. Okay, so if you stand back, you can see this is our area, that is our balcony seating area. It's actually just got a very, very small 2-seater sofa, a couple of chairs. And these chairs I absolutely adore. They're old chairs from Sri Lanka that we've had through our time in London, Hong Kong, and it's something that I absolutely adore. So I love having the space out here to start off an evening if you're entertaining with cocktail hour, or start with a drink. Now you can see here we've got a table, and I've lined up a drink, some bubbly, which I'm looking forward to opening. I've got some coloured champagne flutes, and they've all been placed in one of our beautiful enamel aluminium trays. Present your food beautifully, your drinks, your food. We've got some canapes that I just knocked up really quickly, if you can come and have a look, and these are presented on one of our bird cage trays. If you have a look, the little detailing, it's actually detachable, so it comes flat packed and you can put it together. And this is one of our ceramic porcelain trays that I designed in collaboration by Ross. And I absolutely adore it. If you look closely, there's a matte finish and a polished finish here with the porcelain, and I did it with a dipping bowl. There's a stripe of a little bit of gold. So little details, guys, of how to just present your food beautifully. You can see there's a contrast of colors here. The colors all go together quite nicely, and that just sets a tone of making it a celebration. And I know that staying at home at circuit breaker time isn't not necessarily the most celebratory of times, but if you just want to jazz it up a bit, I would say, create an occasion, or even just the weekend, it's a public holiday tomorrow, why not just do something a little bit special? You can see you can't really see in the daylight, but we've got our lanterns, our hurricane lanterns. Laura, if you can come and zoom in on these. These are our laser edge hurricane lanterns. Now these always sit centrally on our coffee table outside in this living area. I've also jazzed up the space around with some other lighting as well. Now these are our spiked votives. And you can see I've just placed them, spiked them into the frangipani trees. They come in 2 colorways. When we're up later on, I will show you the other. This is the turquoise, teal, blue and lime green. And we've also got them over here. Again, really, really easy. The little flash of color just enhances the space. Now these spikes are detachable. So if you don't want to use it as a garden spike, you can actually also just detach the spike and you can balance it as a votive. I just wanted to show you that. You can see the lanterns can be placed on the table. It can be placed down on the ground as I have here. And what that does is to really just encompass. You can see we're now surrounded. We would be surrounded by candlelight, so that creates a really lovely ambience for your evening. Now, when it comes to having drinks, you know, quite often you might have a few too many, and there is always the possibility that you might have some red wine that might tip over, or some food that goes onto your outdoor living rug. So here's the thing, guys. I know a lot of people have asked me about the maintenance of our rugs, of how easy they are to clean. I have this particular, it's one of my favorite designs of our hide rugs, and it's out here in the balcony. Our balcony doesn't really get wet, so I wouldn't recommend them for an area where it's not covered and your hide rug does get wet. But with this, you can see it's covered, and if we were to have let's say an accident, shall we say, and it's happened lots and lots of times here, where someone might tip over, and if you come over here and there is, someone tips over some red wine, you can see there's a natural film to it where it doesn't get absorbed, and I'm just wiping it away. So let's see, let's do it over here. It's an accident. It looks absolutely terrible. You can see it's just sitting above, and it's not actually being seeped in. You wipe it off and it's gone. There's no sign of it, and all I'm doing is to use a damp cloth, nothing more. There's no chemicals in this, there's no washing up liquid or bleach or anything, and red wine stains just simply wipe away. Okay, so now we've done that, I'm going to take you over to a completely blank table, and I'm going to show you how we can transform this complete blank canvas into something quite celebratory, and something which you could actually really, really enjoy. Okay, I'm going to move away the plates and show you what we're going to start with. So Laura, if you could come a little bit closer, we can then hear me a little bit better, I think. Start with a focal point of a runner. A runner, like I have said with so many of my other styling tips, helps to create that sense of symmetry and balance. So I'm placing the runner bang smack in the middle of the table. Now create a centerpiece. Now you could do this with flowers, but I sometimes find with floral arrangements that they get in the way of the view of your fellow dinner guests. So this is one of our multi-tea light centerpieces. I usually would decorate this if I was entertaining with some flowers, but when I went out today there was absolutely no flowers in sight, and I didn't really want to raid my frangipani tree. So I've just used regular tea lights, but you can see there's some gaps here where you might be able to put some flowers and just bring it alive. Now these placemats are from Barefoot. This is one of the fabulous brands that we stock at the cinnamon room. They're all hand woven in Sri Lanka, and it's really, really great cause because it's giving women in various areas a place. They're teaching them essentially a skill, and they just use the most magnificent of colors in their weaves, and I absolutely love it. So this has been a really popular design. I think we've only got one left of these. Now I want to show you, when you are dressing your table, we've done the central bit, we've put some placemats down. I think that just helps to ground each place setting. I like to layer my place setting. So if you come and have a look around this way, you can see I don't just have a plate, I have a charger, and I've got two colored plates. So I'm using the one with the most contrast to create that. So my chargers also come in two colors. So there's in gold and a little bit of a lilac, and that then creates a bit of a feature just with the contrast in the colors. I'm going to alternate the colors that I use so that it doesn't match side by side, and just by alternating the colors, I think it keeps it interesting. Okay, so here we are. I'm laying a table for 6 here, and you can see, there you go. Now, of course, we're going to put cutlery on either side. I don't really like to do too much with the cutlery. I think for dessert I'll bring out the cutlery for that later. But you'll see how just by adding the little touches, if you have a placemat rather than just dumping it on the table, how this just anchors each place setting. It makes that dinner guest feel that much more special. Okay, so we've got that down. Coming over here, napkins. Napkins, I know it's a real little treat, especially with washing up, but if you're entertaining and trying to make a special occasion out of it, I would say go for a napkin. These are also by Barefoot. So when I was choosing the colors, I don't design this, Barefoot designs this entirely. It comes with a set of 6 placemats and 2 runners. All I've done is to fold them and to put this through. Use a fun napkin ring. Now this one has a bit of a contrast of color. I really, really like it. And look how that brings it alive. Again, I've got 2 different colors of the napkin rings, just to add a little touch. And those are the coasters for my glasses. For here, you can do it that way. And all I'm doing is alternating it, putting a coaster down for each. And there you go. Now, I would say, if you now have got this, think about it, of how nice it would be when you're serving up your food to just use nice bowls and platters. This is one of our salad bowls from the range that I had explained earlier. Now these are also part of our range. They're aluminium with an enamel finish, so they're food safe. And can you see, just by presenting your food in lovely platters, if I bring this over, what a difference it makes. Suddenly, you don't have to do a huge amount, even if you're just serving up something really not all that special. By having some lovely platters out as serving trays, it just adds that element to the table to make it special. And I'm going to bring the drinks over. So you'll see, we've got, these are the glasses. My glasses, there's a little touch of colour in there as well. And you can see how quickly the table then gets transformed. So from a complete blank canvas, we now have a table that actually looks interesting, it looks inviting. And another little tip that I have is little tea light holders. So we talked about having the table centerpiece. Now if you're presenting a lot of food, I like to use our table center, these little tea light holders, not only as something to give each dinner guest a little bit of candlelight for themselves, I like to use it to place my name tags as well. It's just something to lean it across. I'm just going to go and grab one which is done. So this one, for example, has my name on it. So it just makes it a little fun. You flick it over, I get to lean it across that leans up, and it's just something, a little extra something, a special touch. So each person gets their name card, as you can see. That little tea light centers their space. I think it's a really cool little idea. These are really popular as hostess gifts as well. So when people are going for dinner, quite often we bring a bottle of wine, and rather than bring flowers, because they don't really last all that long in Singapore, I have lots of lovely clients that come in and get these little tea lights. They all stack in each other, and they actually also look really good in sets of 3. There's lots of different uses for it. So let's say you had a little bit more space, you could center your place setting on it, or you could position it, your card alongside it. So you can see this table, for being completely blank, if you can zoom in onto the table, Laura, has immediately come alive, and it's because we've used a mixture of textures, colors, different materials. We've dressed the table with a central piece with the placemats, and then designed around it. We've used beautiful bowls, so I could use this as a salad bowl as well. I could use this as having a pasta dish. And there you have it, a beautiful table that's served up. Now, I wanted to also highlight something to you. Quite often when we are entertaining, we don't necessarily always need somewhere to put something down if it's just a small family. But when you're entertaining, everybody needs a place to put a glass down, or you would have, you know, glasses falling over like we saw with the red wine stains. So to avoid that, I love having side tables that nest. And the great thing about the nested side tables is that when you're not using it, you just literally put them or stack them one on top of the other, and it doesn't take up that much space. But when you're actually entertaining and you need it because you've got more people, you want to avoid accidents, there you go. They're out, everyone gets to put their glasses down. It keeps it safe and a lot more fun. So I hope you found those tips useful. To quickly recap, make sure you try and make an occasion out of it, dress your table, anchor it, use different colors, textures.
Show the red wine again.
Ambient lighting, you can see with the various tea lights, lanterns, the spite, all of these things. And normally I would always have music in the background, but because we've got Facebook Live going on, I didn't want that to interrupt. But you can see that how we've created a really inviting space to welcome your guests, even if it's just family, making it more of an occasion. I can't emphasize how important it is to dress your space to make it more inviting all round. And so thank you so much for joining me. We are going to do another session on just rug care. So if you wanted to see the red wine, I can show you. This is another sample of a white. This is one of our samples, and it's actually a white laser hide. It's an ox hide. So if I were to spill it, you can see it just sits on top and it wipes away. No sign of the red wine at all. So anchor the space, make sure you have something that creates a focal point, have some beautiful servingware. You know, that's going to be a real plus in making it all so much more exciting to come, entertain, and enjoy being a host. Now there were a couple of questions that people had asked as well. Thank you for sending through when you registered some questions. And some of them was that you have a very small space and you don't really have enough, how do you make use of that balcony space? So our balcony is obviously quite large. If you have a small space, I would still think it's useful to have some seating. You could go for bistro style chairs, and the bistro style chairs, they don't take that much space, and it also enables you to sit, have a drink. It usually comes with a little table. Another question that we got for outdoor spaces was weatherproof tables. Now, like our rug, this is absolutely fine because we are in a covered space here in our balcony, and with these tables, they are powder coated, so it means that it protects it from rusting. But if the tables were to get completely sodden with rainwater repeatedly, the powder coating wouldn't quite last. So I would say if you've got an outdoor area where it's getting wet all the time, then I would go for like a ceramic table. You can see these ceramic. I absolutely adore these. These were from a store. They're made in Thailand, and we got them about 8 years ago. Just a second, Lara's got something to say.
Someone asked, do you stock the green plates on the table?
Oh, the green plates come from Sri Lanka. So I think a lot of this table actually comes from Sri Lanka. I can walk you through.
What comes from the cinnamon room?
What comes from the cinnamon room? I'll tell you. These placemats, the napkins, the serving salad bowl, there's cake stand, all the tea lights, these aluminium enameled bowls, this as well, the serving tray and the dipping bowl, and of course our ever popular multi-tea light centerpiece. So there's lots of bits here that do come from the cinnamon room, but I also wanted to show you my collection that I've collected over the years. So this came from a shop that I don't think is around anymore in London, on Old Church Street in Kensington. These came from Paradise Road in Sri Lanka, and I think I've had them for 16 years now. The cutlery is also from Sri Lanka. It's that battered iron, and I absolutely adore it. These glasses I love. I bought them very randomly in a store in Singapore that was closing down. These glasses, I think they're now 17 years. They're from the Conrad store. These tables that stack, they're from the cinnamon room. As is this tray and that tray over there. Obviously all our lanterns are as well. The spiked votives, which you can use without the spikes as well. So I hope that answers your question. Outdoor storage, someone did ask. Again, I can't recommend the Helping Hands baskets because although it's an intricate weave, it's actually a synthetic material, a PVC. So they're weatherproof and it's easy to clean. So that's what I use for the outdoor storage out here. I think that pretty much covers most of the questions. I will take any further questions, of course. Now, don't forget, with all these items that you've seen that are available from the cinnamon room, we are running a 10% store-wide discount. It never happens. We only have a store-wide discount once a year on one day, and that's usually our birthday. But this time around, we're running a store-wide discount throughout the entire collection, including rugs, and you get 10% by putting in the code Treat Yourself. So if you feel inspired by what you've seen and want to create a beautiful home entertaining space, get online and take advantage of the store-wide sale that's valid just till next Monday. It's my birthday week. It ends on Monday, the 11th of May, which is my birthday. And so if you want to go for it, there's a brilliant discount with extra savings while you can get stylish as well. Thank you so much. I'm not going to take the phone back from my daughter, Lara, thank you, and go through your questions. I'm just going to put my glasses on. It's been really, really great with this response from everyone who has checked in and told us what you've been interested in. Let me just go through questions really quickly. Hi, lots of hellos. Beautiful decor, love the balcony. We are really blessed because our balcony, if you look behind, well, you can't see, but it's all green and it's lovely. Londa says, I agree, I couldn't get a sense of the size on the website. It's nice to see on a table to get a better perspective. Exactly. So you can see, oh, how do I turn this around now? You can see with the table, I don't know if I'm getting it right, how everything just comes alive. This, you can continue watching this or watch it if you missed it from the start of all the details that we went through. It really doesn't take a huge amount to style a table. Layering, colors, textures, and little unique touches like the little tea lights that could double up as your place setting as well of who's sitting where. So thank you so much, guys. I hope you've enjoyed watching, and if you've got, keep your questions asked. Keep your questions coming, take advantage of our sale. And we are also, I've been really enjoying answering people's questions on various products that they've seen online, in terms of sizes of trays, what's the difference, what's the texture. I'm more than happy to go through it all. And so keep me, let me know if there's any way I can help. I'll be more than happy to. In the meantime, enjoy the evening. I'm looking forward to it cooling down and tucking into my bottle of bubbly that's cooling down now. Have a great afternoon, everyone. Take care and see you soon. Bye.